Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. Today, we're going to be talking about spellcasting, and specifically, we're going to be talking about the granddaddies of all magic users, wizards. Wizards are arguably the strongest spellcasters in D&D, mostly due to their wide versatility. Wizards have the biggest spell list, the largest amount of spells known as the game goes on, for the most part, and it doesn't matter what kind of wizard you build, what your spell selection is and what spells you prepare, what spells are in your spell book, that's what makes or breaks you. Like, most wizards are not going to be leaning, I guess you could be a blade singer in theory, but the vast majority of wizards are leaning into their spells and nothing else. So choosing spells that are powerful, potent, and that really make a difference throughout multiple scenarios in the game is key if you want to be a good wizard. So, today we're talking about third level spells. The spell selection when the power curve hits tier 2. When your wizard is level 5, they have to make some pretty important choices about what spells to take. I've prepared a top 5 list of wizard third level spells that I think every wizard should consider, and over time, I would suggest you take all of these. But take a listen for which ones sound like they would be good for you. Starting with number 5, we have a utility spell, Leomund's Tiny Hut, the safest place in the Forgotten Realms. Well, not literally, but at these low levels, Leomund's Tiny Hut is your go-to spell to keep yourself safe out in the wilds. It takes a minute to cast, so it's not something you can use in combat, but when you cast it, it creates a dome of safety. Creatures within it can see out, creatures outside just see this opaque dome. You can also not cast spells through it, in or out. Projectiles and other solid objects cannot get inside the hut, although they can go out, meaning Leomund's Tiny Hut does have some battlefield applicability for ranged combatants if you can set it up beforehand. You don't want to waste a minute in combat doing that, though. But the important thing is that it lasts for 8 hours. 8 hours is time for a long rest. 8 hours is time the wizard casts this and the entire party is safe. Leomund's Tiny Hut is always warm and dry, regardless of what the weather's like outside. And it's still good to keep a person on watch just in case someone with Dispel Magic comes along. But other than that, Leomund's Tiny Hut is pretty much impenetrable. It's safe, and even if you've got enemies waiting for you when the hut goes down, you'll see them coming, and they don't know what's on the inside. It is genuinely one of the safest spells in the game, and one of the must-haves if you're going to be going on long journeys and you don't want to have to constantly be worrying about who's keeping watch. Leomund's Tiny Hut is keeping watch. Now, at number 4, we have the Fly spell. Fly is a concentration spell, lasts for 10 minutes, and it gives a creature a flying speed. 60-foot flying speed, which usually doubles someone's speed, and of course lets them get out of range of melee combatants, and of traps, and of hazards and pitfalls, and basically flying speeds can circumvent a lot of problems. You cast Fly on a rogue, they can sneak into almost anywhere. You cast Fly on a ranger, and they will rain death down. Or, as the wizard, you can cast it to stay out of danger. So, overall, Fly is just a winner spell throughout the game, both in and out of combat. And the only reason it's not higher on the list is because it does take concentration, and if you drop concentration, you just plummet out of the sky. So, not the greatest fail-safe, but it certainly makes up for it with its potency. Now, at number 3, we have the spell to end combat encounters before they even start, Hypnotic Pattern. You cast Hypnotic Pattern in an area, creatures in the area make a saving throw, and if they fail it, they are hypnotized, which basically means they're stunned and paralyzed and they can't do anything. They are in a stupor. If they fail their first save, they do not get to make more saves. They are stunned for that whole minute, as long as you keep your concentration up. Now, you can wake them up if you damage them, or if one of their allies shakes them awake, but that means they have to spend their action doing so. Even if half of your enemies succeed the saving throw, they have to now choose whether they're going to engage you in combat at significantly reduced numbers, or shake all their comrades awake and waste the entire first turn of combat. That is a huge loss in a game where action economy is king, and battlefield control does not get better than Hypnotic Pattern. And that damaging, waking them up thing is easy to work around. Simple. You just run up and start tying up all your enemies, and then when they come out of their stupor a minute later, you can do what you want with them because you've just got them all at a disadvantage without hurting them. So, Hypnotic Pattern's a big winner. But sometimes you don't want to hypnotize and tie up your enemies or reduce their numbers. Sometimes you just want them all to die. And therefore comes the number 2 spell on this list, Fireball. Fireball is the king of destructive spells and is so popular that it is in fact one of the greatest D&D memes. The wizard casts Fireball. A 40-foot diameter ball of burning energy. Creatures make a dex save, and if they fail, they take a bucket load of damage. And if they succeed, they still take some damage. It is huge, it is powerful, and it is the combat ender that is a little bit better than Hypnotic Pattern, because what's better than a stunned and hypnotized enemy? A dead one. And Fireball kills things. Like, that is plain and simple. You're level 5, you cast Fireball, and you are doing more damage to a group of enemies than anyone else in the party can possibly do. I don't care how many extra attacks the monk and the fighter get. Fireball can target a whole crowd and take them all out in a single shot. It's phenomenal. So why is it not number 1? Well, turns out that in D&D, as often you see in life, a good defense will often keep you alive longer than a good offense. And while Fireball is certainly a great offense, and Hypnotic Pattern is a good strategy, you don't want to be on the receiving end of either of them, or any other spell in the game. And that is why number 1 is Counterspell. Counterspell is the target that will absolutely save your party's life. Whenever magical effects or spellcasters are coming against you and you really don't want to tank the Fireball or any other effect, before it even begins, you can just no. You nope that spell as a reaction, and as long as it's an equal level to the spell slot you used, it's automatically Counterspell. You can Counterspell Wish if you want to, as long as you use a 9th level spell slot to do it. And you can also roll if you don't have the appropriate spell slot level to do it. And that roll, oftentimes Wizards' intelligence is the only thing they care about, so they'll just pump that thing to the max, and then they'll do fine in their Counterspell rolls. All in all, Counterspell is the spell that will save the day time and time again, and if nothing else, you can use it to just troll your DM, because you know dang well he's going to use it on you, and you want to have that kind of power in your back pocket. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below, and keep your eyes peeled for more spellcasting reviews coming down the line soon. Have a good one, my friends.